Many thanks for choosing us. The Upper West Regional Security has been meeting the Wana Palace after riots by irate youth in Wa following the arrest of suspects in the flogging of two lovebirds at the palace. The police has arrested 25 people for the involvement in last night's disturbances. The three suspects who were earlier picked up by the police are yet to be arraigned before court. Rafiq Salam joins us with more on this. Rafiq, what's the latest on this?
The latest is that the meeting between the Regional Security Council and also the WANA ended about 30 minutes ago. And also the minister came back to his office, and then there was a reciprocal visit to the RCC for them to speak on the issue and also see the way forward. And so as I talk to you now, that meeting is ended, but the media is yet to brief on what transpired at that particular meeting. But Aisha, the 25 that were also arrested last night are also being prepared for court. In the next couple of hours, I'm told that they will be taken to the district court where the case will be heard. And so as I talk to you now, there's calm, there's uneasy calm at Wa following last night riot, but there's heavy presence of the police at the forecourt of the Wa police station, also at some vantage areas, because the police doesn't want anybody to put a snap one, first one on them. So calm really has returned to Wa following last night's disturbances.
What's the mood in the town, Rafiq?
The mood in the town is, for me, I would say, with that of anger. They are angry about what transpired yesterday. For them, majority of the people are in the town. Do they think that what really transpired at the forecourt of the One House Palace was a shameful one, of course, but I think that the way and manner the situation was dealt with wasn't the best. They didn't expect the security to at least apprehend the three suspects on the case. And so, more general is calm, but that is really the talk of the town.
Rafiq Salam is our correspondent in the Upper West region. We certainly will bring you more from the court when it happens. But in Parliament, Vice Chair of the Defence and Interior Committee, Ophelia Mensah, has condemned the flogging of the two lovers. She wants the irate youth to refrain from violence and allow the police to do its work. Let's go over to Parliament and speak with Parliamentary correspondent Kwesi Parker-Wilson. Kwesi, how does the entire Committee of Defense and Interior feel about this whole incident? Hello, Parker.
Yes, hello, Aisha.
Yes, so I'm asking you to paint a picture of how the committee especially feels about what has happened in Wa.
Well, for the committee, they are not particularly happy with what's happening in Wa at the moment. The point the vice chairperson made, and this is the MP4 in Fantiman constituency, Madam Ophelia Mensah, made was that the act was condemnable. The youth and, of course, the elders of the palace did not have any right to have caused the flogging of the two lovers. And so for her, they want the irate youth to refrain from any violent act and allow the police to do its work. Persons who were involved in the flogging of the two lovers obviously abused the rights of the two persons. And so the police, and she has been a former investigator, the police has every right to investigate that. But Aisha, just a quick one. The Committee on Land and Natural Resources just held a press conference. Hassan Suhini is the deputy ranking on that particular committee. And Honorable, I heard you making some points about the Achimota Forest and some government lands that are being sold. What exactly are your concerns there?
Well, our concerns are in sync with the concerns of many Ghanaians who are worried about the way government is handling lands that are supposed to be under its care across the country. The Achimota Forest may have stood out, and recently the Ashanti region case where the Ashanti we have told has also been given custody of some government land is another one that stands out. But in many parts of the country, the northern region and the Brown Apple region, we are receiving consent from people with regard to how government is just returning the lands and sometimes allocating it to friends and cronies. And we, as a committee, are very worried about it. In fact, even here in Accra, apart from Achimota Forest, you have the Animal Research Institute under CSR also complaining about how even their cattle crop, was recently demolished, destroyed by developers. And when attempts were made to protect it, a letter actually came from the Chief of Staff's office, to the Minister of Environment, asking them to give the developers protection rather instead of the CSR. These are all things that are investigating this matter. Aren't you satisfied with it? So as a committee, we are not pleased with what the ministry is doing. And so we have invited the minister to appear before the committee on Tuesday next week. And we are hoping that he will come with the agencies under his ministry, such as the Land Commission and the Forest Commission, to brief the committee on all these things that Ghanaians are concerned about. And we definitely will make the briefing public. Those that we can share, we will share. And those that will have to follow up, we will follow up. We are not going to rest until we are all convinced that whatever is happening is in the interest of Ghana and the people of Ghana.
And finally, for me, in the heat of the concerns raised, and of course, that Water Forest House called, you issued a statement asking for a bipartisan probe into the matter. Was this new court, the minister appearing before the committee, has he abandoned the question and probe that?
Definitely not. I mean, it is one of the issues that we will raise strongly with the minister when he appears before the committee with his agency. We will reiterate that call. I mean, those calls were issued through press releases, but this is a formal meeting with the ministry and the minister with his agency. So definitely we will be repeating that call as part of the engagement that we'll have on Tuesday.
Oh, sure. Thank you very much. So, Aisha, that was the deputy ranking on the committee. I'm making the point about the committee mixing with the minister responsible for lands and natural resources.
Parker Wilson is our correspondent in Parliament, and earlier you heard him explain how the Committee on Defence and Interior feel about what has happened in Wa. Then he spoke with a member of Parliament from Tamale who's also concerned about how state lands are distributed among politicians, and they want something to be done about it. But still on the Wa sex tape disturbance, Amnesty International is asking the Inspector General of Police to use video evidence to trace and prosecute the culprits. Samuel Agboche spoke earlier on News Desk.
So we intend to engage the police further, not to only concentrate on the 3 persons that has been arrested already, but I go after the crowd. I mean, all those who witness this flogging, those who were cheering up, those who were beating the 2 people, we think that this is an opportunity for us to set an example that you don't condone this kind of behavior. If I may draw your attention to what happened in Kafaba, where the community looked on when the 90-year-old woman was lynched. These 2 people would have been killed in the same manner. We're just thankful to God that it didn't go beyond just the beating, but the psychological trauma they have suffered will probably live for them forever. And so everybody that witnessed this particular flogging must be arrested. If possible, they should sign a bond never to participate in this kind of activity. And that when they see some of these things happening, they will intervene. They will call those who are engaged in it to order and tell them that this is wrong. This could happen to anybody. And it is what we are expecting the police to do.
The National Commission for Civic Education is asking pressure groups not to resort to violence in a bid to get government to work. According to NCCE, the Constitution provides citizens with the right to speak out and demonstrate and not resort to violence. Acting Chairperson Kathleen Ade has been interacting with Joy News at a media engagement marking the Constitutional Week celebration on the theme 3 decades of uninterrupted constitutional rule, revisiting an agenda for reforms.
Is to safeguard the Constitution of Ghana, and we take that role very, very seriously. And we reject all calls for coup, all calls for chaos, and all calls for violent overthrow of a legitimately elected government. As a people, we have a right to speak up if there's something going wrong. If you identify something wrong with governance, you have a right to speak up, you have a right to demonstrate, to voice your opinion and all of that. But we've come a long way as a country. And in fact, in spite of all its flaws, this Constitution has guided us, and has been instrumental in the 30 years of uninterrupted constitutional rule that we have experienced. And so as NCC, we absolutely reject the calls for coup, the calls for chaos, and the calls for overthrow of a legitimately elected government. We totally reject that.
The special prosecutor has frozen the assets of late Chief Executive Officer of the Forestry Commission, Kwejo Usefriye, also known as Sir John. Mr. Friye's will went viral on social media a couple of weeks ago amid concerns he had gifted lands at the Achimota Forest and a host of other houses and properties across the country to his family members. The Lands Ministry has since commenced a probe into the said lands and declared any such acquisition and transfers as invalid. The special prosecutor also indicated commencing investigations into the matter. Well, the latest is that assets of the former chief executive have been frozen. Elton Brobe, my colleague, joins me with details of that information. Elton, what do we know so far?
So, Aisha, what we are picking is that this is just the latest move out of investigations into the acquisition of state lands that were contained in the will of the late Sir John. Now, the Office of the Special Prosecutor, as you may be aware, last week commenced investigations into a suspected case of corruption against Sir John with regards to his alleged improper acquisition of state lands within the Achimota Forest and the Sakumon Ramsar site. Now, what is just came in is that they've managed to froze the assets of Sir John, and they're also working to froze similar assets that are held in his name outside of the country.
Do the special prosecutor seek to do with this information?
This is just in response to a petition that was sent to the Office of the Special Prosecutor to investigate whether the assets of the late Sir John as captured in this will were acquired illegally or whether it was also done through corrupt means. So it is only seeking to establish whether they were genuinely acquired or were acquired through illegal means. That's exactly what the special prosecutor is doing. And for what we have picked, they've started this investigation. The first casualty, indeed, is what we are witnessing today, that they've managed to froze his assets, and they're also working to do same to some assets of the late Sir John that are outside of the country.
We know about the probe that has also been instituted by the Lands Ministry.
We don't know much, except on Monday we were told that the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources wrote to the Lands Commission to begin tracing of the lands captured in the well. That is now a subject of investigation by both STRAD as well as the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And whether or not these lands were acquired illegally or through the normal means. So, first of all, what the Lands Ministry is saying is that they have declared the transaction or the allocation as not void because the Achimota Forest is not for sale. And for that reason, any pronouncement to that effect cannot hold. So that directive has gone to the Lands Commission to do so. The second step is to now trace the lands as captured in the well and to take steps to ensure that they are returned to the state. That is, if there's any development going on the lands.
All right, Elton Brobe is presidential correspondent, and this is a story that we're keenly following and bring you, our viewers, updates as and when we get that. And move on to other stories. Agric Minister Dr. Uso Akoto says the current fertilizer challenges facing the country will be addressed using local resources. Speaking to journalists after touring the Accra compost plant Wednesday, Dr. Akoto said the government is partnering with local compost producers to address the shortfall. Samuel Mbura has more.
Ghanaian farmers are currently struggling to access fertilizer on the market, mainly due to the sharp rise in prices and unavailability. The two biggest suppliers of the commodity, Russia and Ukraine, are at war, significantly reducing supplies to Ghana and other countries. Agric Minister Dr. Uso Akoto says the situation is now at a crisis point.
I'm here on a mission on behalf of the government of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And the mission signifies the determination of this government to face the global crisis which is now raging in global agriculture in the form of shortages of agricultural inputs and also of food around the globe, which is driving prices well beyond the limits that we have seen in the past few decades. There is indeed a crisis, and this crisis is being fueled first by the COVID-19, which we are just trying to come out, the world is trying to come out, and then in February hit by this unfortunate war in Europe between Russia and Ukraine, which has disrupted systems around the world. Here in Ghana, is being manifested by shortage of fertilizer.
The government is currently collaborating with local companies to meet local demands and cut over-reliance on imports. Dr. Akoto has been touring one of such local compost plants owned by the Geospon group of companies. He says 17 more companies have been identified to boost local production of compost.
Any new situation brings new challenges and new opportunities. And the opportunities here that we see, that because of the acute shortage of inorganic fertilizer, we have to look within ourselves to see what we can do to replace, or at least attempt to replace part of the shortage. And that is organic fertilizer. So we got the conclusion that the supplies, about 18 of them, are capable of making significant contribution to the fertilizer supply market. And of course, the leading one amongst them is Zoomlion.
Chairman of the Geospon group of companies, Dr. Joseph Sion Japan said his outfit is intensifying research into compost production.
The company have set up a fund to have a quality control research so that in all the various regions, wherever the equipment is in operation, the quality will be the same value that will go a long way to support. So we want to humbly announce that we have a fund for research work, and so that most of the officers that will be involved will also have access to the funding to be able to use it to support the system.
Ghana produces over 1 million tons of waste annually, of which organic materials constitute more than 65%, going into drains and causing floods. Perhaps this war in Ukraine is an eye-opener for authorities to effectively manage our waste and protect the environment. Samuel Mbura reporting for Joy News.
Peasant farmers at the Kayoro community in the Katsina and Kana West District of the Upper East region are calling on government to improve access to farming inputs, including fertilizers and tractor services for them. The farmers say last year, through the intervention of the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, they were able to get fertilizers and other inputs for their farming activities. However, with the increase in the prices of goods this year, they are afraid they will not have a good farming season.
In the year 2021, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana supported farmers here at Kayoro in the Kassena-Nankana West District to get access to government-subsidized fertilizers for their farming activities. The Kayoro community is in a rural area very far from the district capital, Paga, and this often made it difficult for farmers here to get access to the fertilizers. The Peasant Farmers Association also supported farmers here to grow sorghum and lobbied for brewery company Guinness Ghana Limited to purchase the sorghum to feed their brewery. Ahead of this farming season, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana decided to award farmers here in Kayoro who performed well in the last farming season. Executive Director for the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Dr. Charles Inyaba, said the awards were meant to encourage the farmers to do more this season.
If you take 2021 to date, you realize that cost of production in any commodity has more than quadrupled. Because of that, many people are dropping out of the farming. Even business people who saw the communication about planting for food and jobs and were attracted to do farming are all dropping out. So we have organized this award system to motivate the farmers to continue to produce.
He said the upcoming farming season could prove to be difficult for smallholder farmers, and if they are not motivated, many of them could give up on farming.
Government subsidy fertilizer is now 320 Ghana cedis for the 50 kg. Cost of agro inputs like glyphosate and other pesticides that we used to buy for 25 Ghana cedis is now going for 60 Ghana cedis. Tractor services that we used to get it between 100 and 120 is now going for 250 to 300 Ghana cedis. As a farmer, we are business people. So if you invest in and then your cost of production goes up, you also save the cost to consumers. So consumers will also be prepared to pay more for food come 2023. So my immediate appeal to government to help farmers to remain in business, for us to be able to supply food to meet the demands of consumers, is to quickly pay monies that they own fertilizer importers.
Paul Benia was awarded the overall best farmer for his achievement in sorghum farming last year. He wants the government to support the Peasant Farmers Association to do more for farmers like those of them here in Kayoro.
We have to pass through two different districts. That is Bulsa North, then you go to Kassena-Nankana Municipal, before you go to Kassena-Nankana West. To go and compete with other farmers there to get fertilizer is always a problem for us. And sometimes before you even hear that there's a fertilizer in the district, before you get it, it's even finished. So we plead with the government that if there's any kind of support, they should always remember us here.
Some women farmers here in Kayoro also shared the challenges they face, which they want the government to address.
Look at this soil, it cannot germinate with the fertilizer. So assume the fertilizer comes in a later, how will you be able to use it? So sometimes the challenge we have is the fertilizer. And even if you will get it later in the farming season, which is not always helping.
When it is raining season, we don't have tractors. We are suffering. If somebody will tell you that he or she will come and farm for you with cattle, the person will delay you. The time you farm and the time has passed, you won't get anything. So we are appealing to you people that if you can help us with tractors.
The paramount chief of the Kayoro traditional area, Per Oscar Batabi Tiyamo II, said another major problem for farmers in his community is the bad nature of the road which links the community to major towns such as Chiana and Navrongo.
It has been there for so many years without even a single grain of gravel on it. The need for the road to be repaired is very, very important because we are predominantly farmers in Kayoro. And the nature of the road, farming and then your produce, having your produce, not being able to transport them is something that is not good for the farmer.
For now, the farmers here in Kayoro will prepare for the new farming season with hopes that they will be able to break even. For Joy News, Albert Sori, reporting from Kayoro.
Many are faced with phone batteries running low in the midst of an important call. While some will resort to battery-saving mode, others have downloaded battery-saving apps. But how do these apps keep the phone from running low? And can there be hidden dangers with these apps? On Thursday, Lava FM's Kwesi Deborah speaks with Professor Kester Apeti of Ghana Communication Technology.
Eric, a phone user for nearly 2 decades, was initially confronted with issues of low battery when his power bank was far away. But for some time now, he's found ways to keep up.
When it goes down, or maybe it is going down, you have, let me say, only 2 options to either reduce your power consumption by the apps, or you can use ultra battery saver, which will give you options to use apps that do not require the battery being drained.
Samuel, however, opted for an app.
You see there's a certain app on the phone called Freezer, this one. So I have freezed most of my apps. For example, AppShare, Boomplay, Jumia, Opera Mini. I have freezed it. So in case I want to use, for example, if I want to use flash score to know the score of certain match going on, I just unfreeze it. In a very short time, I'll get what I want. And then after I finish using that app, I just freeze it again. And if I do that, it helps me. It helps the battery and also my data.
But how do these apps help in keeping the phone going when the battery is draining? And could there be hidden dangers with these apps? Professor Kester Apeti of the Ghana Communication Technology University has the answers.
So, for example, if in case you are running maybe a WhatsApp app, those applications can stop the WhatsApp app from running at the background, which means they have a higher privilege to the Android operating system. So they help in stopping those programs that are running in the background so that they can save battery. That is how they practically work. So we have a lot of people that take advantage of developing those applications and use it to have access to different levels of the application and also of the Android operating system and use it to do so many things. Which means that if they have that access, somebody can also write a code that can send messages as you, that can make calls in the background, that can read your messages, maybe read, for example, we have certain applications that somebody can use your phone number to perform a mobile money transaction, and before you realize you are paying for it, even though the verification or the authentication is supposed to come from your end. Those applications can perform those things at the background due to their low-level access to the Android operating system. So that is how dangerous they are. So in order to make sure that you don't install the wrong ones, you have to get it from the developers of those systems themselves. For example, Google also develops software systems that are used for those activities. So when you get it from those sources, it makes it much more safer.
Reporter for Joy News, Kwesi Deborah.
Bako Municipal Director of Health, Dr. Ibrahim says the ethnic conflict in the area has serious effects on the nutrition of residents, especially among children and mothers. According to him, the municipality recorded 20 maternal deaths attributed to anemia in pregnancy. He's been speaking at a regional learning event held in Wa under the USAID Advancing Nutrition Project. Rafiq Salam has more.
The regional learning event had participants drawn from the Upper West and Upper East regions to enhance learning among regional and district stakeholders on how to effectively plan interventions to address malnutrition and to ensuring that all sectors are involved. The project is under the USAID Advancing Nutrition Project in collaboration with the Upper West and East Regional Coordinating Councils and funded by the U.S. government through USAID. Throwing more light on the project, the National Support Manager for USAID Advancing Nutrition, Abdul Latif Omar, stated that the project has supported health authorities in 17 districts in the northern belt of the country.
You would realize that nutrition has been prioritized in these plans. When I say nutrition has been prioritized, I mean that Nutrition has become a focus area. District functionaries come together and then discuss elements of nutrition and then identify these factors. How are they going to be planning for nutrition? How are we going to budget for nutrition? And how are we going to implement for nutrition? And how do we quality assure that nutrition is being implemented in the right way?
Upper West Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Damien Powiri, stated that nutrition issues account for over 60% of all problems in the country.
Ghana Health Service has a nutrition department that really takes care of nutritional needs of the population. And precisely because malnutrition really causes severe ill health and disability. And so we really are happy to collaborate with USAID and other departments to ensure that there's food security, not just its availability, but how it is prepared, how it is consumed. The value chain, is very important for longevity and healthy life.
Boku Municipal Director of Health Services, Ibrahim Said, revealed that the recent ethnic conflict in the enclave has serious effect on nutrition, resulting in the district recording 20 maternal deaths last year.
It contributes to some of the morbidity that we see in our facilities. For instance, last year alone, Boku recorded 20 maternal deaths. Most of these maternal deaths were attributed to anemia in pregnancy because of poor feeding practices, because of inadequacies and all that. And even anemia among children is another key problem that we have, and malnutrition in general, especially among the under 5 age group. So Boku is not different from other areas where nutrition is a major challenge.
For him, the USAID Advancing Nutrition Project is God-sent and would they have fully embraced.
Since the inception of this project, a lot of work had gone in. They supported us with training of health staff. They supported us with logistics like maternal and child health record booklet. There are a lot of workshops that have been organized. We've done food demonstrations. We've done their best in about 30 communities. So it is helping us to educate people on how to improve their nutritional status. And it's also giving us the resources and knowledge and skills as health staff to work and provide quality nutrition services to the people of Boku and beyond.
The Nadoli Keleo District Director of Health Services, Phoebe Balamuyentimi, on her part, said nutrition is not only a health problem, but it is a developmental challenge.
It is a developmental challenge because every nation that has a lot of malnourished people, definitely will have its workforce affected. Anybody that fails to see nutrition as a very essential component of health is failing, to have a productive workforce. And again, if you fail to use food as your medicine now, you will one day use medicine as your food.
Reporting for Joy News, Rafiq Salam. Wow.
We're still live on the Midday News. When we return, we'll bring you business.
Hello, good afternoon. Let's do business now with me, Beverly Broom. The Africa Arab Investment Hub has announced a €2.8 billion investment to support the government's Agenda 111 program. The Supreme Council says this will help reconstruct Ghana's economy, particularly during and after COVID-19. Executive Director of Ghana's Supreme Council for the Arab Economy, Mukaila Ahmed Ekwamwa, tells Joy Business the council will make investments in order for the sector to help the economy grow.
According to the Supreme Council, the Arab-African Economy Summit is to create relationship with the government and support the Ghanaian economy. Executive Director of Ghana's Supreme Council for the Arab Economy, Mukaila Ahmed Ekwamwa, indicated that they're willing to create more jobs and boost economic growth.
But since the Arabs are quite ready to work with the Ghanaian counterparts, we deem it as starting with the Ministry of Health, where we think health is more key to look at. In addition, oil and gas. And most importantly, to create a smart city, which can create as much as over 150,000 jobs. So today's program is more focused on creating relationship between the government arms and agencies with the Supreme Council. And two, to partner Ghanaian business like the AGI and Co. All right? Now what it is they want to partner, bring in the expertise and the expertise, so that we can boost production. One, create more jobs, increase production, and export them.
Executive Chairman of the Supreme Council, Dr. Hani Hassan Abu Zaid, who spoke through a translator, stated that the Supreme Council will continue to support the Ghanaian economy.
He wants to give glad tidings to Ghanaians because he said Ghanaians are their people.
بأن المجلس الأعلى للاقتصاد العربي الأفريقي تم افتتاح المكتب التنفيذي هنا في غانا.
He said the Supreme Council for Arab African Economy, we have been able to open an executive office in Ghana.
ونحن كما أخذنا على عاتقنا منذ البداية أننا نكون خادمين لقارة أفريقيا وللدول العربية.
And he said, as they have made it upon themselves to serve the African continent and Arab countries from the beginning.
وعلى هذا وجدنا أننا بحاجة للعمل في أهم المجالات التي تحتاجها غانا.
And he said because of this they realized that they needed to work in the sector in which Ghana needs a lot of help in.
The Arab African Investment Hub says it will continue to invest in other sectors of the Ghanaian economy.
The Minister for Communication and Digitalization, Esla Usu-Ekufo, says the government is partnering with other stakeholders to guide the citizens, especially the young ones, against the dangers of online tools. She says with the continuous expansion of access to voice and data connectivity in rural communities, it's imperative to protect the cyber and digital infrastructure to ensure the safe acquisition of knowledge in the national development. She spoke at the National Girls in ICT Day in Ashrenswa in the Ahafo region, where 1,000 girls received training. Precious Semevo has more in the following report.
A mentoring session for 1,000 girls from schools in all 6 districts preceded the climax of Girls in ICT in the Ahafo region at Ashrenswa Secondary School. The initiative, themed Access and Safety, saw participants trained in basic ICT skills and coding, among others. The Ahafo Regional Minister, George Boachi, thanked the organizers for their investment in preparing the youth, especially girls, to contribute to national development. The Minister of Communications and Digitalization, Esla Usu-Ekufo, said 28 out of the 40 cell sites built from 2017 to 2019 are in the Ahafo region. She said they are on course to meet the target of 2,016 cell sites by the end of 2023 to improve voice and data connectivity.
From November 2020 till today, under the Ghana Rural Telephony and Digital Inclusion Project, we have built 769 cell sites on course to meet our target of 2,016 by the end of next year. That's phase 1 of this project, because we know there are many more communities which are still not covered. And so we are developing the phase 2. We need to develop and grow the digital literacy and skills of all our children to be able to become solution providers and innovators to solve our socioeconomic problems for us and for the general growth of our country.
To ensure safe use of the digital space, the minister called for a partnership with stakeholders to guide and protect, especially the young girls.
We must protect our cyber and digital infrastructure and our nation and citizens' interventions online as well. Unfortunately, ICTs come with risks and opportunities. Programs that provide educational resources online may inadvertently create the means for cyberbullying, pornography, fraudulent and other kinds of online crime. We want to partner parents, guardians, teachers, elders of all faith-based organizations in our communities to help us to guide our young ones on the do's and don'ts in the use of online tools to develop their career paths to contribute to our development.
That's all for Business Now, but we have more business stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Where is the...
Muftau Nabla here with the Sports on Joy News today. The head coach of the Black Stars, Otto Addo, has lauded the players for their performance in Ghana's 3-0 victory for Madagascar in their first game in the ongoing African Cup of Nations qualifiers for 2023. Ghana scored 3 goals, courtesy of Kudus Mohamed, Felix Afinajan and Osman Bukari to secure their first 3 points in the competition, and he says the boys did their best.
It depends on so many other things and small details, but I was happy that we scored. We have so much qualities, and it could be like in a different game, maybe where we have strong opponents. I would have decided for Momino, the Jonathan Mensa. It depends on the opponent and on the game. So it doesn't mean that you have to be left-footed, but just for this game, I thought it would be the better solution. And but in general, it's always good to have all kind of possibilities. For me, it's not about local or not local. I don't care. Wherever, if you're from Tamale or if you're from Cape Coast, it's about performance and quality. And this is the way I decide. So when I see a player, especially in the training, but also when I watch video clips or visit matches, this is what I look at. And so the players.
And let's do swimming now. Ghana won 29 medals in the Ghana Zone 2 Swimming Championship in Dakar, Senegal. However, there are concerns that the swimmers lack the basic facilities to train for such a championship. Captain of the team, Abeku Jackson, was on Joy Sports today on Wednesday, and he has called on the authorities to ensure that they are given standard swimming pools to prepare for events.
There is different kind of supports you can get. There's technical support and then there's financial support. Very well. We swimmers don't really focus on the financial aspect. We leave it to our associations or our federations to take care of it. But we focus more on the technical aspect in the sense where we need equipment, we need equipment that would improve us or make us drop a second or even a microsecond. And we focus more on these equipment because we need them to improve and give our best for the country. So like you said before, there was a pool in Bokum, but how hardly do we get to train in that pool in Bokum? I mean, the facility is there, it's taken care of, but we still train where we train. And it would be better to move into this facility and to train in an Olympic-sized pool and to get familiar with the pool, because it would be really bad for us to have an Olympic-sized pool and we can only use it for competitions when we have competition, when we can use it to train for competitions. Great. So I think moving into this pool could benefit both, not just the 3 of us here, but other young swimmers that are also aspiring to be Olympians like me.
Let's quickly zoom in on the Commonwealth Games, because that's the next major assignment. There's a qualification tournament, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me, run us through it.
I've been to 2 Commonwealth Games, 2 seniors, 2 juniors, and the Commonwealth Game is not a joke at all. It's the last Commonwealth Games I went to, I managed to make it to the semi-finals. The first one, I made it through the heats, and as you can see, there are progressions moving forward. I'm hoping to give my best to the upcoming one in Birmingham 2022. We're yet to go for the FINA World Championship heading in June 15th, and I think I'll be representing Ghana in that. I can't tell for the others, but I know for sure, even if I'm the only one, I have their support, and if they're there with me, we would give our best like we gave in Ghana Zone 2.
This is our wrap-up sports here on Joy News today with me, Muftau Nabla. You can head on to myjoyonline.com and read some more sports stories. We've got all details of the stories that we've shared with you here. Up next is World News.
Award-winning Ghanaian gospel musician and songwriter Kwesi Oteng says he does not feel sorry for airing his views on e-levy earlier this year. This comes up on the heels of how he openly declared his support for the government's plan to introduce e-levy and the readiness to pay once it was passed.
You regret those comments, though?
I don't regret them. I don't regret
you still stand by them today?
They are my opinion.
Okay.
Just like every other people have like opinions.
Opinions on things, yeah.
We all have opinions. If you ask my honest opinion, I'll give it to DC.
Yeah.
But when I'm attacked for my opinion, then I feel like it's racist, because you want everybody to think like you, and we cannot all think together. People don't understand that, and we don't have to agree on anything. Agreement really is respecting other people's opinion so that we can exist. But it's like we have a society where everybody wants people to think like them, and so then you cannot have people in your life, because nobody is. We are all powerful to think independently. And
that's all for Showbiz. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is KMJ. Aisha.
And that's how we wrap up news today. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for watching. Enjoy the rest of our programs.
Still looking for my bells.